Before we knew how to invent technology to make things easier, we used word of mouth to communicate with one another. Of course, we still use this method today, however, we've come a long way when it comes to convenience.
After word of mouth came the first form of written word called hieroglyphics. The Neanderthals first used it and drew pictures that related to their lives, such as woolly mammoths and fires. Then, the ancient Egyptians used it to record their history on paper with pictures that corresponded with letters.
During the time of Renaissance Europe, small pamphlets circulated around the community telling of wars, economic conditions, etc. Then, with the invention of the printing press by Johann Gutenberg in the 1450s, newspapers became commonplace in Europe and America.
In 1835, Samuel Morse invented the Morse code, which consisted of dots and dashes. The telegraph could transmit electric signals over wires from location to location that translated into a message.
Christopher Sholes was an American mechanical engineer who invented the first practical manual typewriter in 1866. It had type keys that produced characters one at a time on a piece of paper inserted around a roller.
Alexander Graham Bell was trying to improve the telegraph, a wire-based electrical system, and he came up with a telephone that could electrically transmit speech. There are many different variations of the telephone that followed Bell's first model.
Radio was a form of the telegraph that was wireless and transmitted speech to the public that included news, music, and entertainment. The telegraph, telephone, and the radio were very closely related and invented around the same time.
Philo Farnsworth, in 1927, invented the first television. However, he was not the only one who contributed to the end result of the television that was so popular during the 1950s and throughout society today.
In 1973, Charles Thacker and a group of scientists invented the first computer called the Alto. The first dozen prototypes were not for the public's use, but Apple and the Macintosh were used by the common household 10 years later.
Also in 1973, Martin Cooper invented the first cellular phone, which allowed calls to be placed wirelessly.
First laptop computer, but in 1983, Radio Shack released Microsoft's Kazuhiko Nishi and Bill Gates' design of a 4-pound battery-operated model to the public. Much more improvements to the laptop have been made into what we know and use today.